Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, gents. TaikunZ here, and I'm back from the short holiday break we had celebrating the start of 2020. And to begin this year, we already have the 2020 lobby. Too bad I wasn't there when this changed from 2019 to 2020, I assume, because that's how it was the previous years. And as you can see here, it's New Year's lobby. Even Ayuri is in costume too. So, here are the following updates made in Japanese Unison League this week. Let's begin. Here are the following login bonuses for the first month. But before we get to the actual updates, I got some major catching up with some previous content that I didn't cover. And that is the awakening requirements for the Xeno series, which includes the weapons, the death gear, and the new monsters. So they're all already in Jam. So I'm gonna show each and every one of them. So here's the sword. This is the 36 cost UR because its page shows the requirements. So here's the actual sword. And here are the following requirements. So as you see here, this requires Mananan, Argo, Apollo, the Phantom Sword, and the Star Sword from the Stellar Medal. And here you see the Sword Crest, Marine Sapphire, Mobius Medal, Column Medal, and Aqua Medal. And those are the following amounts. So moving on to the lands, it's Yang Guifei, butchered that pronunciation, Cetus, Wonderful Alice, Satella's Lance, and the Stellar Sight. I think this time they designed it so that you have to exchange for the gear in the Stellar Medal exchange. So same here, it's Crest, and then Pyrospinel from Yang Guifei, and Mobius Medal, Column Medal, and Fire Medal. Those are the amounts. Then we move on to the bow. For the bow, it's Oberon, Nidhogg, Avsaris, Yang Guifei's bow, and the Stellar Medal bow. And then we have Granvia Sword Crest, Aero Emerald, Mobius Medal, Column Medal, and Wind Medal. For the staff, here's the following. So it's Phantom, Marduk, Nyx, Oberon staff, and the Stellar Medal staff. So you get the pattern by now. It's 35C super difficult monster, and then a raid monster from the original guild raid. Who remembers those? And then one of the OG 30C monsters, and then the staff of like the super difficult quest, like the weapon type, the same weapon type of the super difficult quest, and then the same weapon type from the Stellar Medal exchange. So same pattern here. Granvia Sword Crest, and then Amethyst of something. I forgot the name. Whoops. Mobius Medal, Column Medal, and Dark Medal. So same story for the relic. So here's Satella, Samael, Materasu, and then Mananan's relic, and then the Stellar Medal relic. And then here you have Granvia Sword Crest, Yellow Diamond, Mobius Medal, Column Medal, and Light Medal. So if you want to get one of these weapons, get to farming those. So we move on to the defense gear. So this is the helm, and then here are the requirements. So this time it's super difficult quest monster, and then a challenge quest monster, raid monster, one of the OG 30Cs, and then the defense gear from the Stellar Medal exchange. So this time it's Phantom, Dryad, Marduk, Avsaris, and the hat from Stellar Medal exchange. And then here we have Granvia Shield Crest, Legend Medal, Crystal Medal from Crystal of the Secret Altar, Stellar Medal, and Cypher Medal. So once again, those are the amounts. And as you see here, this is the hat. So this time it's Oberon, Reshmi, Cetus, Apollo, and once again the hat. The same as earlier. The hat from Stellar Medal Exchange. So same requirements here. We need Granvia Shield Crest, Legend Medal, Crystal Medal, Stellar Medal, and Cipher Medal. So for the armor, here are the following requirements. So as you've noticed, it's the same requirements for the items. The only differing part are the gear needed. So this time it's Satella, Frey, Samael, Amaterasu, and the clothing from Stellar Medal. So yeah, here are the mods once again. And lastly, the clothing. Someone probably laughed at that on how I pronounce the clothing. So there's Mananan, Evil Demon God, Nidhogg, Wonderful Alice, and the clothing. And then Granvia Shield Crest, Legend Medal, yeah, the same as you see here. Next, we move on to the monsters. As you can see here, she's stabbed by her own sword. That's a thing. So here are the following requirements. Now you may see here that there's new items involved, which are the slates. But first, let's read the gear. So it's Mananan, Cetus, Absaris, Hete, and Mero. So these slates, the class slates, you get them in the new quests for the Gear Awakening. So as you see here, you need like 100 of the main class, and then for the subclasses, you just need 20. Which for this case, for this monster, you need 100 Soldier Slate, and then 20 Lancer Slate and Cleric Slate. And then you see here, there's also slates for defense gear, which is the Helm Slate and the Armor Slate. Now you may think that these are limited time because these defense gear are only available in the trophies, but there's enough of them. As you can see here, you can get 2 Helm Slates, and then 2 Armor Slates, and then 3 Hat Slates, and 3 Clothing Slates, which exactly amounts to 5, and then there's already like 5 monsters. So yeah, there's enough to get everybody. Just a matter of who do you get first. So again, here are the requirements for the Soldier one, and then we move on to the Lancer Founder. So this one is Yang Guifei, Nidhogg, Apollo, Vivi, and Frey. And then you see here, the Lancer hit slate this time is the 100 requirement. And then Soldier slate is 20, Cleric slate is 20, and then Helm slate and Armor slate once again. So they correspond to like the gear that the class wears the most. So we move on to my favorite design from the Gear Awakening monsters, which is the Archer one. And as you see, all the wind monsters involved this time. So Oberon, Pangea Argo, Wonderful Alice, Varma, and Dryad. And then you have Archer slate at 100, while Mage and Cleric are 20. And then you see here Hat slate and Clothing slate. So yeah. Then the Mage one. So the Mage Founder requires Phantom, Samael, Nyx, Grenier, and Evil Demon God. And then the Mage slate this time is the 100, while the Archer and Cleric are 20. And then you see here Hat slate and Clothing slate times 1. Lastly, the Cleric Founder. You need Satella, Marduk, Amaterasu, Lamia, and Reshmi. And then you see here Archer slate, Mage slate, and then Cleric slate at 100. Hat slate and Clothing slate at times 1. So some good friends sent me over the screenshot. For some reason, Natasha isn't on Jam yet, so we have to rely on the screenshot, courtesy of my good friends over the Discord server. If you want to see translated Japanese UL updates, you can head on over to the Dango Discord server too. Here's some good trends. So here are the following gear requirements. So your Spirit Orb, you need 2 Natashas, and 2 Sapphire Dragon Jewels. I made a mistake by saying that Amayo was one of the requirements, and I apologize for that. So for the item Enlightenment, you need this rain note from Amayo's event, and then you need this particular item, then a water medal, and then this item, and then the Enlightenment orb. So for the 4th item, you can get it from the missions. Here's one over here, and it's a gold trophy mission. I assume that for the 2nd item, you'll have to get it from the hardest difficulty in the event. So some of the new content that was released this week are already available in Global UL, just like the quests, Enlightened Mithra. So I'm not gonna cover them as much, but I'm gonna show the animation here. So as a reminder, my good friend MM posts animations over at her Instagram, which is devious_mm. So for the new monster Vikala, here's the animation for the SSR. And then here's the animation for UR. So before I cover what she does, I'd like to segue to this page, which is the enlightening page at the Unison League wiki. I put most of the enlightened monsters here, along with the passive skills. But then I realized that awakened monsters also have passive skills. So either what I'll do is make a passive skill list over at the Gear Awakening page, or just make a passive skill list in general. But yeah, so if you want to see this, come check it out at the Unison League wiki. So here is Vikala Spawn. It's a Divine Grace spawn, and as you see here, it's treasure spawn with treasure medals, and then there's also the exchange here. So here's the following exchange. Feel free to pause. Okay, so we've seen the animation already. She comes with a new set of weapons and defense gear, just like the time when Tsukiyomi released last year. And there goes Mithra again. So let's move on over to the browser and see what they do. So for the jackpot rewards, you get Summoning Scroll Vikala, new weapon gear or new defense gear. And then there's the medals, droplets of feather, awakening orb piece, and then 29 cost or more SSR monster. So for this, I'm gonna post it in my Facebook, the entire image. So here are the 29 cost monsters that you can get, which are 29 cost or more, as you see here. And now we get to the set. So Vikala has this new skill called Clock Short, which will reduce the duration of status buffs, special status buffs, and non-removable effects, which I assume to be stuff like Awakening, Hero, Frenzy, by 20 seconds. I don't think that it reduces by 20 seconds, but for the duration of 20 seconds, the buff is active and any effects that are applied to you will have its duration reduced. So another thing is that she has this. Reduces fire, water, wind, and light, dark, time, and star unison damage ability power by 30%, 60 seconds. And I point this out because we haven't seen this effect since Diane and Merlin in the 7DS collab, 7 Deadly Sins collab. So she also has the debuff removal resistance. Osiris has that, and then Serenity, which Tiamat has. So for the weapons, they're attack replacement ability stuff. And Their thing is like the new Guardian weapons, wherein they massively increase damage, but recover your cost by 5 instead of recovering Unison Engage. And then the activation rate depends on the number of the type you have equipped. So for Soldier Sword, Lancer's Lance, etc. So the attackability of placement stuff are clock themed. So they increase cost recovery for cost recovery speed for the soldier one, and it also is available to rooks. And then for the lance, it reduces the action speed of NPCs and or reduces cost recovery speed if they're a player target. And then for bow, reduces your own cooldown times, and then has a physical damage 1 time and magic damage 1 time for archers and treasure hunters. And then for the staff, it's mage, berserker, treasure hunter, which increases the ability cooldown times of who you hit by 20%. And then the cleric one has clock lag, which has the ability clock short from Vikala, which is pretty interesting, but it's only for 15 seconds. So for the defense gear, they also do something new. So okay, so for the headgear, they null paralysis alongside having a damage down. So it's damage down and null paralysis combined. Once you proc, you prevent paralysis. And then for the headgear, it's null confuse. So as you see here, it's damage down combined with a null confuse. So once again, I'm gonna post this on my Facebook, so for you to be able to further see. And now we move on to the actual new content of the day, which is this spawn with Moses. So here's the animation, and it's a treasure spawn. Here are the following exchange. As usual, feel free to pause. They are mostly time element stuff, since Moses is time element. So we move on over to here, and we have the following. So for Moses, they have decreases activation priority, which is a signature effect of Ibaraki Doji, Atui, and Shuten Doji, which I assume that Moses is part of that set. And then hits for 5 times, plus karma, and then he has this clock over. So remember earlier that we have this duration reducing clock effect from Vikala. For Moses, it only does that 1 time for the duration of 30 seconds. So it'll only reduce 1 time, so if you reapply that same buff, it won't get reduced. And then has elevation and concentration, and then cast hero. Of course, it's a hero monster. And then we have the following here, which is the treasure box rewards. And then there's this that I forgot to cover. This is a certain lobby in the chat, which is pretty much a board game. But to start it, you have to buy the emote at the animation shop. So we can try this since I have plenty. And then let's roll. I got 5. So the instructions are I move here with 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I was close to actually winning. Let's see. 6. Do I just stay here if it's 6? I don't know. So I guess you just make your own rules, and it's just pure fun. At the cost of 5 gems, of course. And that'll be all for this week in Japanese Unison League updates. I hope you had a good 2019, and I hope you have a good start to 2020. Once again, belated Happy New Year. And after this video, I'm likely streaming at my channel, which I'll be streaming Monster Hunter for my weekly Monster Hunter things. So if you like this video, please like, come subscribe to the channel for weekly Japanese Unison League update videos. And that's it. That's all from me. TaikunZ, zoning out.